Did you know that over 1 million immigrants in the UK could be at risk of losing their legal status by 2025? That's right. New immigration rules are coming, and they're stricter, harsher, and more unforgiving than ever before. If you're an immigrant living in the UK, planning to move there, or even just visiting, you could be affected. The government is raising salary thresholds, making visas more expensive, and even deporting people over minor mistakes. Families are being torn apart, students are losing their right to stay, and thousands of workers are being pushed out of the country, even in industries where they are desperately needed. But that's just the beginning. What if your visa gets rejected for a simple paperwork error? What if your employer can't afford to sponsor you anymore? What if the rules change while you're in the middle of your application? The UK, once seen as a land of opportunity, is now turning into a fortress, and many immigrants are finding themselves on the wrong side of the walls. So who is at risk? What are the 10 biggest reasons millions could be forced to leave the UK in 2025? And most importantly, could you be next? Stay with us as we break down the shocking new rules, who they affect, and what you can do to protect yourself before it's too late. Number 1. A drastic increase in work visa rejections. The UK government is cracking down on work visas, making it harder than ever for foreign workers to stay in the country. If you're currently in the UK on a work visa or planning to apply, you could face serious obstacles in 2025. One of the biggest changes is the sharp increase in work visa rejection rates. More applications are being refused due to stricter eligibility criteria, forcing thousands of skilled workers to leave the UK. The government has raised salary thresholds for visa applicants, meaning many workers who once qualified for a visa will no longer meet the income requirements. For example, under the new rules, skilled workers must earn at least £30,000 per year, a significant jump from previous salary thresholds. This change will impact industries like healthcare, hospitality, and IT, where salaries often fall below the new requirement. Employers now struggle to justify hiring foreign workers, as they must prove there are no suitable UK-based candidates, a difficult and expensive process. Additionally, the shortage occupation list is shrinking, meaning fewer jobs qualify for visa sponsorship. Workers who were once considered essential may no longer have a path to legal employment. Those who are already in the UK may find their visa renewal applications denied, forcing them to leave. This tightening of visa policies will reduce the number of skilled foreign workers in the UK, potentially leading to labour shortages in key sectors. If you're planning to work in the UK, it's now more important than ever to stay updated on changing policies and explore alternative visa options before it's too late. Number 2. UK's new salary test for skilled workers. Starting in 2025, the UK government is introducing a new salary test that will make it even harder for skilled workers to stay in the country. This policy change means that if your salary doesn't meet the new minimum requirement, your visa may not be renewed, even if you already live and work in the UK. Under the updated rules, skilled workers must earn at least £30,000 per year to qualify for a work visa. Previously, the threshold was lower, allowing many professionals in healthcare, education, and other industries to remain in the UK. But now, thousands of workers who don't meet the salary requirement could be forced to leave when their visa expires. This change disproportionately affects essential workers, such as nurses, care workers, and junior IT professionals, whose salaries often fall below the new threshold. Many employers are unable to increase wages to meet the new requirements, leaving skilled workers in limbo. The government argues that these changes will prioritise high-earning professionals, but critics warn that it could cripple industries that rely on foreign talent. Even workers who do meet the £30,000 salary threshold aren't safe yet. The Home Office is also tightening sponsorship rules, requiring employers to prove that no UK-based worker can fill the role before hiring a foreign applicant. This extra layer of bureaucracy discourages businesses from sponsoring visas, leading to fewer job opportunities for immigrants. For those currently working in the UK or planning to apply for a skilled worker visa, time is running out. Without a guaranteed salary above the new threshold, staying in the UK could become nearly impossible. Now more than ever, foreign workers must seek alternative visa routes or negotiate higher wages to secure their future in the UK. Number 3. Family visa, rules that separate families. One of the most heartbreaking changes in the UK's new immigration rules is the tightening of family visa requirements. These stricter policies could force thousands of families apart, making it much harder for spouses, children, and other dependents to reunite or stay together in the UK. The most significant change is the higher income requirement for family visas. Starting in 2025, UK residents who want to sponsor their spouse or child must earn at least £30,000 per year, a major increase from the current threshold. For many families, this is simply unaffordable, especially for those working in lower income jobs. If the UK sponsor fails to meet the new income requirement, their loved ones may be denied entry or even face deportation. Additionally, bringing elderly parents or extended family members to the UK is becoming nearly impossible. The government is making it harder for families to apply under the Adult Dependent Relative ADR visa, which was already one of the most restrictive family visa categories. This means aging parents in need of care may have no option but to stay in their home countries, even if they have family willing to support them in the UK. These changes are tearing families apart and making it harder for immigrants to build a stable future in the UK. For many, the emotional and financial burden of these new policies may force them to leave the UK altogether to reunite with their loved ones elsewhere. If you're planning to bring family members to the UK, now is the time to prepare financially, explore alternative visa options, and seek legal advice to avoid being affected by these harsh new restrictions. Number 4. The hostile environment is getting even harsher. The UK government's hostile environment immigration policy is about to get even tougher in 2025. Originally introduced to reduce illegal immigration, these policies now affect legal migrants as well, making it increasingly difficult for foreign nationals to live and work in the UK without constant scrutiny. One of the biggest concerns is the increase in immigration checks and enforcement actions. The Home Office is expanding its powers, allowing more frequent visa status checks at workplaces, rental properties, banks, and even hospitals. This means landlords, employers, and service providers must verify immigration status before offering housing, jobs, or services, or risk heavy fines. These changes are expected to make daily life even more stressful for immigrants, who could face discrimination or wrongful denials of housing and employment. Another major issue is the rise in sudden deportations. The government is accelerating removal processes, meaning that even minor visa mistakes, such as an expired document or a delayed renewal, could lead to immediate deportation. Immigrants who have lived in the UK for years may suddenly find themselves classified as illegal if they fail to meet new documentation requirements. Additionally, the government is expanding surveillance measures to monitor immigration status more closely. Increased data sharing between government departments means that overstayers or visa violators will be identified more quickly. Even those with valid visas may face increased scrutiny and pressure to prove their right to stay. These changes are creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty among immigrants, forcing many to constantly prove their legal status just to access basic services. With these harsher policies, many immigrants may decide that the UK is no longer a welcoming place to call home. Number 5. International students losing their right to stay. The UK has long been a top destination for international students, but new immigration rules in 2025 are making it much harder for them to stay after graduation. These changes could drive thousands of students away and force many to reconsider the UK as a study destination. One of the biggest setbacks is the tightening of post-study work visa rules. Previously, international students could stay in the UK for up to 2 years after graduation under the graduate route visa to find a job. However, the government is reducing the duration of this visa for many students, limiting their ability to gain work experience and transition into long-term employment. This means that even after paying high tuition fees, many graduates will have no choice but to leave. Another major change is the ban on dependents for international students in most cases. Until now, students pursuing postgraduate degrees could bring their spouse or children to the UK. Under the new rules, only students in very limited courses, such as PhDs or research-based programs, will be allowed to bring family members. This is a major blow for students with families, many of whom will now choose to study in countries with more flexible immigration policies, like Canada or Australia. Additionally, the UK is raising financial requirements for student visas. Applicants must now show higher proof of funds, making it more expensive to study in the UK. Combined with rising tuition fees, this will price out many international students from poorer countries. These changes will likely damage the UK's reputation as a global education hub, as international students opt for more welcoming destinations. If you're planning to study in the UK, it's crucial to understand these new restrictions and explore alternative visa options. Number 6. Visa fees skyrocketing. One of the most controversial changes coming in 2025 is the massive increase in visa fees. The UK government is raising the cost of immigration applications across the board, making it far more expensive for workers, students, and families to stay in the country. For many immigrants, these new fees could be unaffordable, forcing them to leave the UK or reconsider moving there in the first place. The cost of a skilled worker visa is expected to double or even triple, meaning applicants may need to pay thousands of pounds just to apply. Similarly, the fees for student visas and family sponsorships are rising significantly, making it harder for people to bring their loved ones to the UK. In addition to visa costs, the Immigration Health Surcharge, IHS, is also increasing. This fee, which allows visa holders to access the NHS, will jump from £624 to over £1,000 per year per person. For a family of 4, this could mean an extra £4,000 in costs, just to access healthcare. Even those applying for Indefinite Leave to Remain, ILR, or British citizenship will face higher application fees, adding another financial burden to long-term immigrants. The UK government claims these increases will help fund public services, but critics argue that they are simply a way to reduce immigration by making it too expensive. Many skilled workers, students, and families may be forced to leave because they cannot afford to renew their visas under the new system. If you're planning to stay in the UK, it's more important than ever to budget for these rising costs, explore employer sponsorship options, and look for alternative visa routes before these financial barriers become overwhelming. Number 7. Stricter Indefinite Leave to Remain ILR rules. For many immigrants, Indefinite Leave to Remain is the ultimate goal, a step toward permanent residency and British citizenship. However, in 2025, the UK government is making it significantly harder to qualify for ILR, leaving thousands of long-term residents uncertain about their future. One of the most concerning changes is the increase in the residency requirement. Previously, most visa holders could apply for ILR after 5 years of continuous residence in the UK. Under the new rules, this period may be extended to 8 or even 10 years, making it much harder for foreign nationals to secure long-term stability. Additionally, the government is introducing tougher English language and life in the UK test requirements. Applicants will now be expected to pass more difficult exams, proving a higher level of English proficiency and knowledge of British history, law, and customs. Many fear that these tests are being made deliberately harder to reduce the number of successful ILR applications. Another major change is the limited number of visa routes leading to ILR. Previously, workers on a skilled worker visa or other long-term visas had a clear path to ILR. But now, some visa categories may no longer qualify, forcing immigrants to switch visas or restart their residency period from scratch. With these stricter rules and higher fees, many long-term UK residents may struggle to secure permanent residency. This uncertainty is pushing some immigrants to leave the UK altogether, rather than facing a longer, more expensive and unpredictable path to settlement. If you're planning to apply for ILR, now is the time to prepare, meet all new requirements, and explore alternative options before these new barriers take effect. Number 8. Increased deportations for small rule violations. In 2025, the UK government is introducing stricter deportation policies, making it easier to remove immigrants for even minor rule violations. Many foreign nationals who have lived in the UK for years could suddenly face deportation, even for small mistakes on their visa applications or minor legal infractions. One of the biggest concerns is the zero-tolerance approach to visa compliance. Previously, overstaying a visa by a few days or making minor errors in documentation could be resolved with a fine or a warning. Now, even a small paperwork mistake could lead to immediate deportation. The Home Office is increasing random visa checks at workplaces, universities, and rental properties, meaning immigrants are under constant scrutiny. Additionally, the government is expanding its definition of criminal behaviour that can lead to deportation. Even minor offences, such as unpaid fines or administrative mistakes, could now be grounds for removal. Non-citizens who are convicted of even low-level crimes may lose their visa status and be forcibly removed from the UK, even if they've lived in the country for decades. Another worrying development is the increase in deportation flights, with the government planning to remove immigrants more quickly and in larger numbers. This means fewer chances to appeal deportation orders, making it difficult for affected individuals to defend their right to stay. With these harsher enforcement measures, many immigrants, even those who are legally residing in the UK, are feeling a growing sense of insecurity. The only way to stay protected is to ensure all visa paperwork is correct, avoid any legal issues, and seek professional advice if facing immigration challenges. The consequences of even a small mistake have never been more severe. Number 9. EU citizens losing their right to stay. Since Brexit, EU nationals have faced increasing challenges in maintaining their legal status in the UK. However, in 2025, things are about to get even worse, as thousands of EU citizens could lose their right to stay, even if they have lived in the UK for years. One of the main reasons for this is the strict enforcement of the EU Settlement Scheme, EUSS. After Brexit, EU citizens were required to apply for either settled status, permanent residence, or pre-settled status, temporary permission to stay. However, many people missed the application deadline or were unaware they had to apply. And now, they risk losing their legal right to stay. Even those who successfully received pre-settled status are at risk. Under new rules, anyone with pre-settled status must apply for settled status before their temporary permission expires. If they fail to do so, they could become undocumented immigrants overnight, making them vulnerable to deportation. Many EU citizens are finding that their applications are being delayed, rejected, or questioned, leaving them in a state of uncertainty. Additionally, the government is increasing checks on EU nationals, requiring them to prove their continuous residence in the UK. This means that even if an EU citizen has settled status, they could still be asked to prove they have not left the UK for extended periods. Those who fail to provide evidence risk having their status revoked. With these stricter enforcement measures, thousands of EU nationals could unexpectedly lose their right to live and work in the UK. If you're an EU citizen in the UK, it's critical to check your immigration status, renew your documents on time, and seek legal advice if you encounter difficulties. Number 10. A looming labour shortage could backfire. While the UK government is tightening immigration rules to reduce the number of foreign workers, these policies could backfire and cause severe labour shortages across multiple industries. As more skilled workers struggle to meet the new visa requirements or are forced to leave, businesses and public services could face a crisis. One of the hardest hit sectors will be healthcare. The NHS relies heavily on immigrant workers, especially nurses, doctors, and care staff from countries like India, the Philippines, and Nigeria. With higher salary thresholds, stricter visa rules, and increased costs, fewer foreign healthcare workers will be able to come to the UK. This could lead to longer hospital wait times, staff shortages, and declining healthcare quality, putting even more pressure on an already struggling system. The construction industry is another area at risk. Many EU workers left the UK after Brexit, and now, with fewer visas available and rising costs for employers, the industry faces a severe worker shortage. This could delay major infrastructure projects, drive up housing costs, and slow down economic growth. The hospitality and service industries are also feeling the impact. Restaurants, hotels, and retail businesses rely on migrant workers to fill essential roles. If these businesses can't find enough staff, it could lead to higher prices, reduced services, and business closures. Even the technology and finance sectors, which have long attracted global talent, could suffer. Countries like Canada, Germany, and Australia are offering more attractive immigration policies, meaning the UK risks losing top talent to its competitors. In the long run, these harsh immigration policies could hurt the UK economy more than they help, forcing the government to rethink its approach or face serious economic consequences. The UK's new immigration rules are some of the strictest in history, and they're about to change the lives of millions. With tougher work visa requirements, skyrocketing fees, and harsher deportation policies, staying in the UK is becoming more difficult and expensive than ever before. Families are being separated, students are losing opportunities, and skilled workers are being forced out. All while industries face labour shortages that could hurt the UK economy. If you're an immigrant in the UK, this is not the time to be unprepared. The rules are changing fast, and if you don't take action, you could find yourself facing unexpected challenges, or even deportation. But don't panic. There are still ways to protect your future and secure your stay. How to protect your future in the UK. With new immigration rules making it harder to stay in the UK, the key to avoiding problems is preparation. Here's what you need to do right now to protect your immigration status and secure your future. 1. Stay informed and monitor. Rule changes. The UK government frequently updates immigration policies, sometimes with little warning. Regularly check official government websites, follow trusted immigration lawyers on social media, and subscribe to credible immigration news sources. The sooner you know about a change, the more time you'll have to prepare. 2. Double-check your visa and application documents. Many people lose their visas or face deportation due to minor errors in their applications. Make sure all your documents are accurate, complete, and submitted on time. If you're unsure, hire an immigration lawyer or consultant to review your paperwork before submission. 3. Explore alternative visa routes. If your current visa doesn't meet the new criteria, explore other pathways to stay legally. Investor and entrepreneur visas. If you have the funds to invest, you may qualify for a business visa. Family sponsorship. If you have a UK spouse or family member, check if you qualify for sponsorship. Student visas with work options. Some programs still allow work-study opportunities. 4. Secure financial stability. Many of the new rules focus on higher salary requirements. If your salary doesn't meet the threshold, try to negotiate a raise or switch to a higher-paying employer that is willing to sponsor you. Some industries are still in demand, so research sectors where you can qualify for sponsorship. Apply for Indefinite Leave to Remain, ILR, or Citizenship ASAP. If you're eligible for ILR, or British citizenship. Apply as soon as possible before the requirements get even tougher. Waiting too long could mean facing stricter residency rules or increased fees. 6. Get legal help before it's too late. If you're at risk of losing your visa, don't wait until the last minute. Consult an immigration lawyer who can advise you on your best options and help you file appeals if necessary. The UK's immigration system is evolving rapidly, but with the right information and preparation, you can stay ahead of these changes and secure your future. We put a lot of effort into bringing you the latest updates on immigration changes. If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it helps us keep creating valuable content for you.